Yeah, the thing about Puka though, he's not explosive, so it's going to be a lot of like he's just big and physical, and he's fundamentally sound. But Adams is still the bigger threat from a big play standpoint, and he's one of the best route runners ever.
John, let's dive into the other side of the ball for this Eagles Rams game. Week 3 matchup coming in here. You got Vic Fangio versus Sean McVay. As you've pointed out, Vic has gotten the better of Sean McVay, I think, almost every time they've played. And you got this Rams offense. They do have, all right, they got Puka Nacua. They got Devontae Adams. They got Tyler Higbee. They got Kyron Williams. They got Matthew Stafford, and an offensive line that isn't great, but isn't bad, also isn't bottom of the league either. What do you see, John? Advantages, disadvantages for the Eagles in this defensive matchup with this pretty high-powered Rams offense?
Yeah, to me, the front has to make up for the secondary in this game, and maybe not make up is the correct term, but they got to help the back end on this particular day because if Matthew Stafford has time and Puka Nakua and Devontae Adams have time to run their routes, um, it's going to be pretty successful for the Rams. Um, if they speed Matthew Stafford up, get him off his spots, not about sacks because he's too smart to take a ton of sacks, but you can speed him up as you saw in the playoffs and make him uncomfortable, and that's where the Eagles can win the game. So to me, look, they can't hold up with Adoree Jackson and um, even a young player, even though there's a lot of positive signs with Drew Makuba, they can't hold up against this receiving group. And you also include Tyler Higbee, who's a good tight end in that. Um, Nick mentioned Tutu Atwell. He's not even their third best receiver. Their third best receiver is Jordan Whittingham, who's a good third receiver. Um, that on paper, that's a big advantage, Rams, and that's how do you stop that advantage? The front. They have to pick up the back end, in my estimation.
Yeah. It is gonna be tough. I think the Rams did get better from a receiver perspective. Devontae Adams has had a pretty good start to the year, and obviously Puka Nacua has he has really taken off. He's a good football player, man. So I don't know. This is a game and a team and a quarterback that will exploit that one weakness on the defense. I think this defense is way ahead of schedule. I feel really good about this defense right now. I think they're going to be a top 5, top 7, top 8 unit in the league, maybe higher, depending on how the ball bounces. But this is a team that could pick on Adoree Jackson and do it successfully because they got the weapons and they got the quarterback to be able to do it. So, I'm
Yeah, this
wondering.
is a bit of a measuring stick game. Sean McVay got asked that out there, and he kind of alluded to it. He gave the lip service that every game's a measuring stick, but then he kind of doubled back and said, "Yeah, this is for both teams, I think." Um, for the questions we have, more questions for the Rams because they have to prove they can play with the Eagles, but the questions we do have about the Eagles, the corners, well, Adoree mainly, um, and the young players in the back seven against a really smart, a really savvy quarterback who's seen it all. So you're going to have a tough time fooling him with some of the stuff that Vic can fool younger quarterbacks with. Um, to me, it's just simple: get him off his spot and speed him up because
Yep.
you're not going to fool him.
You think
You're
they're
not
going
going
to
to
do?
fool him.
You think they're going to do any of the blitzing they did last week?
No,
Probably not, right? Yeah.
no, no,
Too good of receivers.
no. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be the exact opposite.
So they need the 4-man rush to get him
Yeah.
to get pressure on
Well, you
Stafford.
want that, and Vic will, you know, yeah, it's situationally, he didn't blitz in the Super Bowl famously, not once. Um, Look, that's always an anomaly. So situationally, I've said pretty consistently, he might be more willing to bring pressure, like in the red zone, for instance, when things are very condensed. He might be more amenable to to throw in some pressures because he has Campbell and Vaughn now. So I think it might upgrade, but not to the level.
Not
Like
not the safety blitz we got a chance to see.
I mean, he did that because he had
Yeah.
no concern over the Chiefs receivers, and this is the best duo the Eagles will face all year, flat out. This is the best receiving duo, and I'm not even counting. Like I said, they have a good tight end. People would know the name Tyler Higbee if Jalen Carter didn't get home last January, because he would have been the guy crushing your hearts. He was wide open. He would have been the guy crushing the hearts of Philadelphia. But they have a good tight end, and like I said, Whittingham can play. Now the other problem with the Rams is Kyron Williams, and that's tough to say because he's a very good player, but he fumbles the ball. He puts it on the ground.
Yeah, he does.
And the
I think
Eagles,
he had two fumbles versus last year, didn't he?
Yeah, both games. One there, if you remember the game out there, the Rams got the ball first. They were going right down the field, getting in the score, and he fumbled it in the red zone. Changed the whole sort of feel of that game. And then he fumbled in the playoffs with, again, big spot, middle of the field. I think it was Jalen Carter who punched it out. Yeah, I mean, and nobody does that better than the Eagles. So they know Kyron Williams' reputation. They're gonna be peanut punching the hell out of him.
Yeah, they are. So that's interesting. Vic did give just for those looking for the Vic comment on facing up against this offense. They have a great offense. Vic said their scheme is really good and tough to prepare for, tough to play. They got a great quarterback operating it. They now have two great receivers. Sean does a great job calling the game. He's a really good play caller throughout the course of a game. It's an extremely difficult assignment. So definitely Vic Fangio giving his credit there to the Rams offense. John, they also
he's Lou Holtzen, Sean McVay. He owns Sean McVay.
A little bit of gamesmanship, exactly. Yeah. The Rams are very motion heavy though, John, and maybe with some young players on this Eagles defense. They try and maybe look for some advantages there, or try and, pick on a player that might not have as much awareness or might not have as much experience versus some of those things. Remember, John, last year, Puka Nacua had a big game versus us, 9 catches for 117 yards in that Week 12 matchup. A lot of that because they were playing from behind. But what do you think of that motion and that offense and just, the way to defend it here if you're Fangio?
Yeah, I met. Well, Vic knows how to defend it. But, it's all about discipline and making sure you don't bite for the eye candy. And Vic has done it better than anybody else. But I'm glad you brought that up from the standpoint. I think Nick Sirianni really likes beating Sean McVay.
Yeah, I agree.
Because Nick gets a lot of shit for being uncreative, and like all he does is beat the Rams. Like he's never lost to the Rams. I think he likes it. He'll never admit it. He's never said it. But McVay's the guy when it comes to offensive football in the NFL. And a lot of it is that perception of how creative he is and all that stuff. I think he loves beating them. It's
a good call. I agree.
And, Sean himself, and I brought this up for many times because I think it's, he calls it the illusion of complexity. Illusion. It's very complex to people looking at it, or it looks very complex, but it's very simple for the Rams.
Right. But that's where I feel like maybe you throw Jahad Campbell off or Makuba. You know what I mean? That's
young players. Yeah,
right.
That's what you're concerned about. Discipline, discipline. Don't fall for it. Just play your technique. Don't move. Don't chase. Eye discipline is a big thing in football. And that's how the Rams get poor teams. But, Vic's teams tend to be very disciplined. So that's why he's had a lot of success against Sean McVay.
Yep, no doubt. John, looking at their offensive line before we get in, we've got about 15 minutes left in the show here. We'll take a couple super chats after we're done wrapping up this discussion of the Eagles versus Rams Week 3 matchup. Their offensive line, not bad, not great. They got Alaire Jackson as their left tackle. Left guard is up in the air still with that Steve Avila injury. It could be Justin Dadich. Their center is Coleman Shelton. Their right guard is Kevin Dotson. And their right tackle is Rob Havenstein. So that's going to be interesting. But, I do think that there's some opportunity here for this team, for this Eagles defensive line to get some pressure on that O-line.
Yeah, I mean, that to me is the game. It's okay. It's good. Shelton's playing very well early in the season, at least compared to his peers. I don't think
Their veteran is not playing so great. Havenstein, he's not had a good first 2 games.
Alar Jackson's okay. Havenstein's okay. Dotson's okay. They pay him a lot of money. He should be better, but yeah, I mean, they've been fine. Definitely better run blocking than pass blocking. So I mean, that's where the Eagles, to me, have to win the game. They speed up Stafford, they win the game. If they don't, they lose the game. That's what my whole take on this game. Because they're not equipped to stand up on the back end. But I don't know if the Rams are equipped, and I don't think they are equipped to. I think this is going to be a big Zadarius Smith game.
Okay.
And as far as that, I don't mean, because I don't think he's going to play 50 snaps, but I think he's going to make big plays in big situations. So if it comes down to a 1-score game, and it probably will, like last year in the playoffs, I think Zadarius is making the Jalen Carter play.
Yeah. How does Adoree? You think Adoree holds up?
No.
Oh, man.
I mean, they didn't hold up last year. I mean,
it's almost like they're going to get their yards, just figure out how to keep out of the end zone, basically.
Yeah, I mean, Puka's going to get his, but
bend but don't break, the classic bend but don't break this week.
Yeah, the thing about Puka, though, he's not explosive, so it's going to be a lot of, like, he's just big and physical, and he's fundamentally sound. Adams is still the bigger threat from a big play standpoint, and he's one of the best route runners ever. I mean, that dude can shake anybody.
Yeah.
So he's still the bigger standpoint from a big play. Puka's more the volume guy who's going to catch 150 balls, and but he's going to catch a lot of balls.
Yeah. 12 catches last year versus. I just said that. I mean, that's a lot of catches, man. 12 catches in a game.
Yeah.
Has AJ Brown ever had? I shouldn't say it. Has AJ Brown ever had 12 catches with us? Oh, I wish we used AJ Brown more. Gives me agita. I just want to use AJ Brown more. Everybody gets mad at me because we just keep winning, so I'm not allowed to say it. But man, I just want to use our.
Yeah, people don't want to have that conversation, but I mean, it again, it's just a style of play. Like Matthew Stafford has thrown for 4,000 yards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times in his career. Like he's the epitome of a high volume thrower.
Yeah, he is.
And Vic said he's got. When it comes to an arm talent perspective, he's one of the best ever. Literally one of the best.
Yeah,
ever.
I agree. Yeah.
Like that's not how the Eagles play. I don't know how to describe it any other way.
Is what it is. Yeah. John, Deshae brings it up. I like this nickname for him, Clampion, but big test for Quinion this weekend as well, for sure. The whole secondary is going to be tasked with 2 great receivers, Tyler Higbee. So I'm curious to see how that secondary.
Well, McVay is smart. I think he'll take advantage of whomever. I mean, and that's the beauty. It's not like they have to try to match up Puka with Adoree, or they have to try to match up. They can match up anybody, and they can get the football to them. So yeah, I think they're just going to try to pound Adoree Jackson, and and Stafford's smart as well. He'll focus on that. I mean, so they're a very smart team offensively. They have a smart coach and a smart quarterback. I mean, they're going to go after Adoree Jackson. Everybody knows it, including Adoree.
Yeah, right. How will Vic hide the Dory? We will see what he's able to do. And again, I think it's just a bend but don't break, man. They're going to get their yards, but just try and keep them out of the end zone. So we'll see how that goes. Good stuff there, Johnny Mac. Great breakdown of the Eagles-Rams matchup here in week number 3. All right, we're going to get into some super chats here. We got about 10 minutes left to go. We will also give our score predictions here on the game. So here's JH. JH says, I have a friend who is converting from Vikings to Eagles. I'm calling violation on that. Told him our offense will frustrate him at times, but we usually win and have good ownership. You can't just switch in week 3, JH.
I think it's a violation to use the term violation, JH. I hate that term, but anyway, if you're going to use it, yeah, you should never bail on your team. I mean, I'm old school to the point. If you have a favorite team, you never move up. That's your team for life.
Yeah. Yes, John. Now, John, I love that. I mean,
that's if you're a fan, if you move off your team, you're not a fan.
Right, you're not a fan. Exactly. By definition, you're not a fan.
I mean, you got to go through the adversity.
That's violation. John, I don't want this guy. I don't want this guy's friend who's going to become a fan of the Eagles. He'll be flaking on us in a year or two.
Yeah.
Get the guy out of here. JH, tell your friend we do not allow. We do not accept.
Yeah, but all due respect to Anthony Gargano, just stop with the violation stuff, please. Stop.
I don't use it enough for you to get mad at me at that. HKP says, what's up, HKP? The issue for me mentally is I love that we find ways to win, but why isn't passing a part of that when we have the weapons to dominate in that aspect?
Well, we just spent 2 hours, it seems, talking about it.
I mean, but at least it's a logical thought process. I'm tired of Eagles fans acting like it's not a logical thought process.
They play a very unique fashion of football, and that the conventional wisdom is you can't play that way and win, and they have turned that on its head. They are an anomaly, but they are a successful anomaly. Like I said, that's like saying, and for this week, the greatest show on turf Rams, that's like, play like them. Those are 2 of the best teams in the modern era. Literally 2 of the best teams in the history of pro football in the modern era. The Rams' greatest show on turf team, the Eagles last year. 2 of the greatest teams. Completely polar opposites. You can't just say to another team, hey, go play like that Rams team. Same way you can't say, hey, go play like this Eagles team. You can't do it. Now, both ends of the spectrum, one is more run-based, defense-based, in an era where you're not supposed to be able to win that way, versus a team that didn't give a shit about turnovers because they were so explosive offensively and would score in seconds if they needed to. The Eagles are an anomaly. You either embrace it or don't, but that's what they are.
And an anomaly with AJ Brown and Devontae. I mean, what? I don't know. Here's Alexander Harris checks in. I know you guys talked about Dean yesterday, but do you see a scenario where Dean is traded given how good Campbell and Bond combination is? I do, but I don't know if because he's injured might stop.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to prove he's healthy, and how does he prove he's healthy? You might be able to get something, like a 6-round pick, but you're not going to get much.
And at that point, why not just keep him for a year? Yeah, I mean, you got full aspiration.
So, because you just keep him in case of injury from that standpoint. The only way you can prove he's healthy to other teams is to play. And if Campbell continues to play the way he's playing, he's not going to have a position to play, unfortunately, for N'Kobe. He's a very good player himself, if healthy.
Good stuff, Alexander Harris. Appreciate it, brother. I do agree it's something to keep an eye on, but I think with the injury, it's a tough swing here. Brian Fleming checks in. What's up, B. Flem? Spags blitzed that much because he knew Mount Union's D3 playbook has no shots. Jalen doesn't look middle, no Dallas, and Petunia doesn't know what a slant is.
Well, hey, Mount Union's D3 playbook won a Super Bowl.
That's true.
Been to 2. What does that say about the rest of the league, if you're right, Brian?
Well, 22 is different. I'm sorry, but it was.
Not from the playbook standpoint. If you look at the games, it wasn't different.
Yeah, but how do you factor that they ran tons of RPOs in 22 and they do not run RPOs now?
Well,
Like
there's a lot. There's a lot of.
They are running different plays, John. Like they don't do the RPO.
Well, of course, it's not 100%. It's only evolved, by the way. It's only gotten. Again, Jalen Hurts does more now.
Condensed.
No, not even close. He wasn't allowed to do anything at the line of scrimmage when he first started playing. Not even close.
Well, he had the ability to make the decision in the RPO, but you're right. Outside of that, it wasn't.
As far as the RPO, if you'll notice that's a league-wide issue, and as I said, that ships by the way the league handles it. And once they started hitting quarterbacks, everybody started readjusting and saying, "Shit, I don't want my quarterback hit." So once the league started to say, "All right, you're conflicted," that's the whole part of the RPO. If you're conflicted, just hit the quarterback. And we'll take the 7 or 8 yard run, whatever it is. We'll take that and we'll try to, there's still a violent game at its core. And we'll try to put some doubt in the mind of the quarterback that he's going to get whacked. In the case of Jalen, by the way, I don't think it matters because he's such a big physical guy. But from the Eagles' perspective, I think it's more of nobody wants their quarterback hit. Because you saw him get hit yesterday, one of the few last week. That sack he took, you never see Jalen get hit on the button. He got hit on the button.
You never see Hurts take hits like that. That was a hit, man. That was,
and you don't want to see that consistently or a few times a game. So that is a league-wide thing. The RPO, there's many fewer RPOs today than there were 4 or 5 years ago. Many fewer. And that's because the defense is doing a better job. And why are they doing a better job? Well, yeah, guys are more disciplined. They understand it more. That's part of it. But the bigger part of it is they started whacking the quarterbacks.
Good stuff there. Good breakdown. Here's one more from Brian Pump. What's up, Pump? Zander, explain Jalen's time to throw then. Maybe run blocking. I don't know what he's alluding to there. He sent this earlier in the show. I don't know what we were talking about at the time.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's time to throw, hasn't you're talking about his time to throw versus getting the football out. He's always near the bottom of the league. All dual threat quarterbacks are. So to me, obviously that stat is very misleading, as a lot of stats are, because the more you extend plays, that obviously is going to increase the time to throw. So to me, you have to break it down right away. So take the off schedule stuff out of it and the number comes down. The problem is when you take the off schedule stuff out of it and it's just throw the football, back foot on the ground. Yeah, it doesn't come out on time too often. Yeah. That's fair. That's a fair criticism.
Yep. Last one here, then we'll get our predictions for the game. Leon says, J-Mac, you ever thought about shaving the goatee? I don't know why he has that. The goatee. That's the J-Mac goatee.
Yeah, man. It's been so long. I haven't thought about it. But I probably look a little bit younger. But at this stage, who gives a shit?
Yeah, who gives a shit is right. Fuck. Leon, good stuff. All right. John's keeping the goatee. At least I presume he is. I don't know. John do whatever they want. I don't really care. Good stuff there. Appreciate everybody for being here today. Johnny Mac, we got already to the end of the show. I didn't even realize that. Your prediction for the game, brother, and maybe a key that you're watching in this football game. But your prediction for the Eagles versus the Rams Week 3 matchup.
Divisional round repeats. And by that, I mean the Rams are going to have the ball with a chance to win with a touchdown in the final minutes. And this time, as I already stated, Darius Smith is going to make the play.
Ooh, I love it. I love it.
Last year was 28-22 not last year, it was back in January. 28-22. I'm going to go 28-24 this time.
Ooh, close to me. You're close to me. I had 27-20.
Eagles. I will not, I'm telling you right now, I will not pick the Eagles to lose until somebody freaking beats them.
I know it's hard. You're right. I mean, it's hard to pick against them. I got 27-24. So we came in with very similar scores in this match. I got 27-24. Birds will win it at home in front of the Lincoln Financial Field, Philadelphia crowd. Looking forward to seeing it. Johnny Mac, great show today, brother. Your final thoughts on a Football Friday before we talk to you once more on the pregame show before that 1 p.m. kickoff on Sunday.
Yeah, 1 o'clock game. Enjoy it, man.
I know you're like gleeful. I can hear it in your voice. The game's coming up.
Best thing ever. Best thing ever. You get breakfast. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah, we got a couple of them in a row, so enjoy them, Johnny Mac. John, good stuff, brother. We'll talk to you again on Sunday on the pregame show. All right, brother.
All right. Thanks, all.